My girlfriend said, my parents remortgaged their house for my medical bills. I gave her $50,000 to help. Then I saw their vacation photos from the Maldives. I didn't ask for it back. I simply sued all three of them for fraud. Their masks collapsed in the first hearing. I, 29 male, still can't believe I'm writing this. 2 weeks ago, I was planning to propose. Now I'm in the middle of a fraud lawsuit against my girlfriend and her parents. Been with Jenna, 27, for 3 years. Met her at a bookstore. She was reading medical journals. I was browsing sci-fi. We clicked instantly. She was finishing her nursing degree. I was working as a data analyst for a logistics company. Nothing fancy, but decent money. Last year, Jenna started having health issues. Chronic fatigue, mysterious pain. Doctors couldn't figure it out. She was in and out of specialists, missing work at the clinic where she'd started. The bills started piling up. Then in January, she broke down crying. Said her parents, Frank and Dottie, had remortgaged their house to help with her medical expenses. Showed me paperwork. Looked like refinancing documents. Medical bills totaling around $85,000. Her insurance had supposedly denied coverage for experimental treatments. I felt terrible. Here's this woman I love. Her elderly parents sacrificing their retirement security for her health. I had about $70 saved. Combo of inheritance from my grandpa and being a boring homebody who never spends money. Told her I wanted to help. She cried harder. I can't take your money. You're not taking it. I'm giving it. We're a team. Transferred $50,000 to her account that week. Kept $20 as my emergency fund. She promised to pay me back once she was working full-time again. I told her not to worry about it. Fast forward to 3 weeks ago. I'm at work, mindlessly scrolling Instagram during lunch. Jenna's mom doesn't really understand privacy settings. Her profile is wide open. There it is. Posted 4 days prior. Living our best life in paradise. So blessed. Maldives, family vacation blessed. Photo after photo. Frank and Dottie sipping cocktails on a yacht. Jenna in a designer bikini at an overwater bungalow that I know costs $2,000 a night minimum. Private seaplane transfer, spa treatments, the works. My brain short-circuited. These are people who supposedly just destroyed their financial future for medical bills? Kept scrolling. Found more photos from the previous week. Timestamps showed they'd been there for 10 days. Did the math. That trip? Minimum $30,000, maybe more. Felt physically sick. Screenshots everything. Then started digging. Called the hospital billing department, pretending to be following up on payment plans for Jenna. They had no record of any bills over $3,000, all of which had been paid by insurance months ago. The specialist she was supposedly seeing? The clinic existed, but when I called asking about their experimental chronic fatigue treatment, they were confused. They do standard rheumatology, nothing experimental. The refinancing documents she'd shown me? Started looking closer at the screenshots I'd taken back then. The letterhead was slightly off. The bank logo was low resolution. Format didn't match actual documents from that bank. I checked their website. They were fake. All of it. That evening, Jenna came over, acting normal, chatting about her day. I pulled up Dottie's Instagram on my laptop. Your mom's vacation photos look nice. The color drained from her face. That's not what it looks like. Really? Because it looks like your parents took my money meant for medical bills and went to the Maldives. She started scrambling. They needed a break, the stress of my illness, the refinancing. They just needed some time away. Jenna, I called the hospital. I called the clinic. I know there were no bills. I know there's no experimental treatment. Silence. Then she tried tears. I was going to tell you, we were in debt from other things, credit cards, my student loans. My parents were going to lose their house. So you fabricated medical bills? Created fake documents? That's fraud, Jenna. It's not fraud. You gave it as a gift. I never signed anything saying it was specifically for medical bills. That's when I knew she'd already thought through the legal angles. This was calculated. Get out. She switched to anger. You can't prove anything. You gave me that money freely. Get out. She left, but not before saying, you'll never see a penny back. And if you try anything, I'll tell everyone you're a controlling psycho who's bitter about a gift. Challenge accepted. Update 1. The mask came off fast. First, let me address something from the comments. Yes, I have everything documented. Every single thing. Being a data analyst makes you paranoid about backups. I had screenshots, bank transfers records, even recorded our conversation. One-party consent state, completely legal. 3 days after I kicked her out, I get a call from Frank. This man who I'd had dinner with dozens of times, who called me son, immediately went on the attack. How dare you upset our Jenna, after everything she's been through? Frank, I know about the Maldives. I know there were no medical bills. You ungrateful little prick, that money was a gift. You can't take back gifts because your feelings got hurt. You're right, Frank. I can't take back a gift, but I can sue for fraud when that gift was obtained through false pretenses. He laughed. Actually laughed. You think you're smart? Jenna documented everything. She has texts of you insisting she take the money. You begging to help. No mention of medical bills anywhere in writing. That's when I realized they'd planned this from the start. Jenna had been careful in our text conversations, always discussing her situation or difficulties, but never explicitly connecting them to the money transfer in writing. Frank, she showed me falsified medical documents. That's fraud. Prove it. He hung up. 20 minutes later, Jenna texts from a new number. Baby, I'm sorry. Let's talk. I can explain everything. I love you. I didn't respond. An hour later, if you don't want to talk, that's fine, but I need my things from your apartment. Then, I'm entitled to my belongings. If you don't respond, I'll have to involve the authorities. Then the social media campaign started. Jenna posted a sob story on Facebook about her abusive ex who was punishing her for accepting help during her health crisis, tagged mutual friends. Some reached out to me, concerned. I sent them the Maldives photos and told them to check with the hospital themselves if they doubted me. Most backed off after that. But Dottie went nuclear. She started messaging my mom on Facebook, claiming I was mentally unstable and had control issues. Said I was trying to financially abuse a sick woman. My mom's response was gold. Dottie, I saw your vacation photos. They're lovely. That resort looks expensive. Blocked immediately. Meanwhile, I was busy. Found a lawyer who specialized in fraud cases, Jeremy. Good guy, very straightforward. Looked at everything I had. This is actually a solid case. The falsified documents are key. The fact that they presented specific paperwork, regardless of text messages, shows intent to deceive. The amount makes this criminal fraud in our state. Criminal? If you wanted to pursue it, right now we can file civil charges. But if they don't settle, we might involve the DA's office. Filed the lawsuit that Friday. Fraud, seeking full restitution plus legal fees. The papers were served Monday morning. All three of them, Jenna, Frank, and Dottie, named as defendants. The extinction burst, as Reddit calls it, was immediate. 47 missed calls from various numbers. Kidding, it was actually 23, but still. Texts from Jenna ranging from, please don't do this, to you're destroying my family, to I'll ruin your life. Frank left a voicemail. You little shit, you have no idea who you're messing with. I know people, this won't end well for you. Dottie tried the guilt angle, leaving a crying voicemail about how they're good Christian people who made a mistake, and how could I destroy their lives over money. Then came the escalation. Tuesday morning, my manager pulls me aside. Someone had called HR claiming I was embezzling company funds. Anonymous tip. They had to investigate, obviously. I showed them my finances, explained the situation. My manager was pissed. Not at me, at them. This is clear harassment. Document everything. We'll support you if you need us to. Wednesday, I get home to find my apartment door slightly scratched around the lock. Someone had tried to get in. Nothing missing. They didn't succeed, but the intent was clear. Filed a police report, installed a camera immediately. Thursday, Jenna shows up at my gym. Makes a scene. How could you do this to me? I loved you. You're trying to destroy my family. Everyone's staring. I'm on the treadmill just trying to ignore her. She gets louder. You begged me to take that money. Now you're suing me because I went on one vacation? I stopped the treadmill, looked her dead in the eyes, and said loud enough for everyone to hear. You faked cancer bills. You committed fraud. Leave before I call the police. The gym was silent. She turned red, stammered something about me being crazy, and left. Security banned her that day. But here's the best part. Jenna made a crucial mistake. In her anger, she sent a text that night. Fine. You want to play hardball? I'll tell everyone the truth about how you knew the money wasn't just for medical bills, but you gave it anyway, hoping to control me. You knew about my parents' debt and wanted to be the hero. Jeremy was ecstatic when I showed him. She just admitted the medical bills were fake and that there was other debt she was hiding. This is perfect. Update 2. The hearing was yesterday. I need to tell you how spectacularly this went. They showed up looking like they were going to church. Dottie in her Sunday best, Frank in a suit that looked rented, Jenna in a conservative dress I'd never seen before, hair in a bun, minimal makeup. The transformation was obvious. They were playing the innocent, humble family card. Their lawyer was some strip mall guy who looked like he'd rather be anywhere else. Jeremy later told me he recognized him as someone who usually handles traffic tickets. Judge Harrison was an older woman, no-nonsense type, the kind who's seen every sob story and scam in the book. Their lawyer started with the expected defense. This was clearly a gift between romantic partners. My clients never explicitly requested money for medical expenses. The plaintiff is simply experiencing regret over his generosity. Jeremy stood up. Your Honor, we'd like to present Exhibit A. The falsified medical documents appeared on the screen. Jeremy had blown them up, highlighting every inconsistency. The fake letterhead, the wrong formatting, even a typo in the hospital's name. They'd spelled it Medical Center. These documents were presented to my client as proof of medical debt. They're forgeries. Their lawyer scrambled. We were not aware of any forged documents. That's when Jenna broke. Those were just examples, templates, to show him what the bills looked like. The judge's eyebrow went up. Miss Coleman, please don't speak unless addressed. Jeremy continued. Exhibit B, Your Honor. Screenshots of Dottie's Maldives posts, every single one. The yacht, the bungalow, the spa, timestamps showing they were there just weeks after the money transfer. And Exhibit C. Jenna's text admitting she knew the money wasn't for medical bills and that she'd hidden other debts. Their lawyer looked at his clients with an expression that clearly said, "You didn't tell me about this." Frank couldn't contain himself. That vacation was already planned. We used our savings. Judge, Mr. Coleman, you'll have your chance to speak. Your Honor, we also have a recording of Mr. Coleman admitting they plan to manipulate text conversations to avoid mentioning medical bills in writing, specifically to avoid legal consequences. Played the recording of Frank saying Jenna had documented everything and kept mentions of medical bills out of texts. The judge turned to their lawyer. Counselor, were you aware your clients had fabricated medical documents? Your Honor, I was not aware of the full circumstances. She looked at the Coleman family. Let me make sure I understand this. You, pointing at Jenna, created false medical documents. You presented these to the plaintiff. You accepted $50,000 based on these false pretenses. Then your family immediately took a luxury vacation. Is that accurate? Jenna started crying, but not sad tears, angry tears. He wanted to give me that money. He practically forced it on me. I told him no. He insisted. This is just revenge because I broke up with him. We're not broken up, I said before Jeremy could stop me. I ended it when I discovered the fraud. Judge, Miss Coleman, did you or did you not create false medical documents? Silence. Miss Coleman? They weren't. They were just to show him. That's a yes. Did you or did you not present these documents as real medical bills? More silence. Frank exploded. This is ridiculous. We don't have to sit here and be attacked. He gave a gift. You can't take back gifts. The judge's expression went cold. Mr. Coleman, fraud vitiates everything. If a gift is obtained through fraudulent means, it's not a gift, it's theft. Dottie started wailing. We're good people. We go to church. We made a mistake. One mistake shouldn't ruin our lives. Mrs. Coleman, this wasn't a mistake. This was a deliberate, planned deception involving forged documents and manipulation. That's not a mistake. That's a crime. Their lawyer asked for a recess. When we came back, he announced they wanted to settle. Jeremy wasn't having it. Your Honor, given the egregious nature of this fraud and the harassment my client has endured since filing the suit, we're not interested in a settlement at this time. We want a judgment. The judge nodded. I'm inclined to agree. This case will proceed. However, I'm issuing a temporary restraining order. The defendants are not to contact the plaintiff directly or indirectly, not to come within 500 feet of his residence or workplace, and not to make any defamatory statements about him publicly or privately. Jenna lost it. You can't do that. He's ruining our lives. He's the one harassing us. Miss Coleman, you're very close to contempt. Your family perpetrated fraud. The plaintiff is entitled to legal remedy. Any further outbursts and you'll spend the night in jail. As we left, Frank muttered something about this not being over. Their lawyer quit that afternoon. Jeremy got a call saying he was withdrawing from the case. Final update. It's been a month since that first hearing. I wanted to wait until everything was finalized before updating. After their lawyer quit, the Colemans went through 2 more attorneys. Each one dropped them once they saw the evidence. Turns out, lawyers don't like clients who lie to them about forging documents. The harassment escalated briefly. Someone keyed my car, $3,000 in damage. Security footage was too grainy to prove it was them. But come on. Jenna created a fake Instagram account to message my coworkers claiming I was dangerous. Screenshots went straight to Jeremy, straight to the judge. Violation of restraining order number 1. Frank was dumber. He approached me at a gas station. You think you're smart? You destroyed my family. My daughter is a wreck. You're gonna pay for this. Frank, you're violating the restraining order. I'm recording this. He grabbed my phone. Bad move. The station had cameras. Assault and violation of restraining order. He spent a weekend in jail. But the real victory came during discovery. Jeremy subpoenaed their bank records. Not only did they use my money for the Maldives trip, but we found something interesting. Jenna had done this before. 2 years before we met, she'd run the same scam on another guy. Fake medical bills, sympathy play, got $30,000. He never sued, probably too embarrassed. But his name was on the transfer receipts to her account, and the timing matched another family vacation to Cancun. This changed everything. Pattern of behavior. Criminal fraud. The DA's office got involved. Suddenly the Colemans wanted to settle. Desperately. Their new lawyer, number 4, called Jeremy. They'd pay back the $50,000 in installments. No admission of guilt. Jeremy laughed. Full amount plus legal fees immediately, and they admit to fraud in writing. Otherwise, we proceed with criminal charges. They had 48 hours to decide. Dottie broke first. She showed up at my mom's house, violating the restraining order again, sobbing about how they'd lose their house. My mom, bless her, recorded everything while telling her to leave. Please, he's destroying us. Jenna made a mistake. We'll pay him back. We'll sell things. Please make him stop. Mom, your daughter is a con artist. Your family are thieves. Leave my property, or I'm calling the police. They agreed to our terms the next day. $50,000 plus $8,500 in legal fees. Due immediately. They had to sell Frank's boat and Dottie's Mercedes. Apparently the house story was partly true. They were in debt, just not from medical bills. Jenna had to move back in with them. She lost her job after the restraining order violations became public record. The signed admission of fraud was beautiful. All 3 admitted to conspiring to defraud me through false medical documents. Jeremy made sure it was airtight, any violation of the agreement or any further harassment, and we'd proceed with criminal charges. Got my money back last week. Every penny. But here's the kicker. Remember the ex-boyfriend they'd scammed? He reached out after hearing about my case through mutual acquaintances. He's now suing them too. With the admission of fraud in my case, his case is basically guaranteed. Last I heard, Frank works nights at a warehouse now. His previous employer let him go after the arrest. Dottie's selling MLM products on Facebook and failing. Jenna tried to start a GoFundMe claiming she was a victim of financial abuse, but it got taken down after multiple people reported it with evidence of the fraud. They're probably going to lose their house after all when the ex-boyfriend wins his case. As for me, I'm in therapy, working through the trust issues this whole thing caused. Started dating again recently, someone who actually shows me her real medical bills when she has them. Kidding, but the transparency in my new relationship is refreshing. The money's back in my savings. Thinking about using it for a down payment on a house with good security cameras. To those asking if I regret going nuclear instead of just accepting the loss, hell no. It wasn't about the money by the end. It was about showing them that their calculated cruelty had consequences. They didn't just steal money, they fabricated an entire illness, manipulated my emotions, made me watch the woman I loved suffer from fake symptoms. They let me lose sleep worrying about her health while they planned vacation activities. That's not a mistake. That's not a momentary lapse in judgment. That's months of deliberate deception. Looking me in the eye every single day and lying. They wanted to play games, they got exactly what they deserved, and now it's public record forever. The best revenge isn't served cold. It's served with legal documentation and a judge who's seen through your BS. Done with this chapter. Moving on.